The sheriff's cruiser screeched to a halt in my driveway, kicking up clouds of dust that stung my eyes. I just stepped off the bus, my duffel bag slung over my shoulder, back from a year abroad volunteering in Guatemala. My family's ranched 200 acres of rolling Wyoming hills. The only thing my dad left me was supposed to be waiting for me. Instead, I found Karen, my dad's former business partner, standing on my porch, phone in hand, barking at the 911 operator. "He's trespassing," she shrieked, pointing at me like I was a stray dog. Her designer heels sank into the dirt, and her pearl necklace gleamed under the midday sun. I froze, jet-lagged and confused, as the sheriff cuffed me, muttering about a property dispute. Karen smirked, her eyes cold. "You shouldn't have come back, Jake," she said. I'd left the ranch in Karen's care when I went abroad. She'd been Dad's partner for years, handling the books while he ran the cattle. I trusted her big mistake. She'd always had a sharp tongue, quick to judge the ranch hands or sneer at locals in town, but I figured she was just prickly, not a snake. While I was gone, she'd spun a web of lies, claiming I'd abandoned the property, convincing the county I'd defaulted on taxes. She had no right, but she had connections, friends in high places who didn't ask questions. By the time I was back, she declared the ranch hers and was already planning to auction it off to the highest bidder. In the sheriff's office, I pleaded my case, my voice hoarse from exhaustion. "The deed was in my name," I said. "I'd paid every tax, every bill, wired from overseas." The sheriff, a grizzled man named Tom, scratched his beard and sighed. "Karen's got papers saying otherwise," he said, showing me a forged document with my signature sloppily mimicked. My stomach churned. I wasn't just fighting for my home. I was up against a woman who'd weaponized her privilege, her charm, and her lies to steal it. Tom let me go with a warning, but I had nowhere to sleep. Karen had changed the locks. I crashed at a motel in town, digging through emails and bank records on a borrowed laptop. That's when I found it. An email from Karen, sent months ago, boasting to a friend about taking care of that Hicks ranch. She'd underestimated me, thinking I'd stay gone. I printed it out, my hands shaking with rage, and started calling lawyers. But Karen was moving fast. By week's end, she'd organized an auction, strutting around my land like she owned it, schmoozing with wealthy bidders from out of state. She'd already sold off half my equipment, me dad's old tractor, the hay baler, even the family's antique weather vane. The betrayal burned deeper than I could have imagined. Then came the twist. Maria, a quiet ranch hand who'd worked for my dad for years, reached out. She'd stayed on under Karen, keeping her head down, but she'd seen everything. "Jake," she whispered over the phone, "Karen's been bribing the county clerk. I've got proof." Maria had secretly recorded Karen on her phone, bragging about paying off officials to push the auction through. She also had photos of Karen's forged documents, timestamps showing they were created while I was still emailing Karen about ranch upkeep. Maria was risking her job maybe more, but she'd always loved my dad like family. "He'd hate what she's done," she said, her voice breaking. Her evidence was a lifeline, and I clung to it. Armed with Maria's recordings, I stormed into the county office, demanding an investigation. The clerk, a nervous man named Harold, went pale when he heard the audio. Karen's voice, smug and clear, echoed through the room. "A few grand, and they'll sign anything." Harold stammered, promising to escalate it, but I wasn't waiting. I took Maria's evidence to a lawyer friend, Sarah, who filed an emergency injunction to halt the auction. By now, word was spreading in town. Locals who'd known my dad were furious, whispering about Karen's arrogance, how she'd called them backward at the diner, how she'd laughed off their complaints about her shady deals. The auction day arrived, and I showed up with Sarah and a court order. The scene was chaos, bidders milling around, Karen in a fur coat, barking orders at auctioneers. She saw me and laughed, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You think you can stop this, Jake? This is my ranch now." Her confidence was infuriating, but I held up the injunction. The crowd murmured, sensing trouble. Karen's face twisted, and she started yelling about her rights, but Sarah stepped forward, cool as ice, and handed the papers to the auctioneer. "This is illegal," Sarah said. "You proceed, you're liable." The auctioneer backed off, and the bidders started leaving, grumbling about wasted time. Karen wasn't done. She lunged at me, screaming that I was ruining her legacy. That's when Maria appeared, holding up her phone, playing the recording for everyone. Karen's voice filled the air, admitting to the bribes, the forgeries, the whole scheme. The crowd gasped. Some pulled out their phones to record. Karen's face went from red to ashen. She tried to snatch Maria's phone, but Tom, the sheriff, was there now, drawn by the commotion. He'd heard enough. "Karen, you're coming with me," he said, cuffing her as she sputtered, her designer sunglasses falling into the dirt. The fallout was swift. Karen's bribes unraveled, exposing a network of corrupt officials. The county launched an investigation, and Karen was indicted for fraud, forgery, and embezzlement. The ranch was returned to me, though it was a mess, equipment gone, fences torn down, the barn half dismantled for her renovations. I walked the land that night, the stars bright above, feeling my dad's presence in the wind. It wasn't just about the ranch. It was about justice, about standing up to someone who thought money and status could crush anyone in her way. Maria got a promotion to ranch manager, and the town rallied to help me rebuild, donating tools and time. Karen's trial was a spectacle. She showed up in court, still defiant, claiming she was misunderstood. The jury didn't buy it. She was sentenced to 7 years, her reputation in tatters. I heard she's still writing letters from prison, begging for leniency, but no one's listening. The ranch is healing, slowly, just like me. Every nail I hammer, every fence I mend, feels like a victory not just over Karen, but over the kind of greed and entitlement she stood for. This story isn't just mine, it's a reminder that truth can claw its way out, no matter how deep it's buried. It's about community, about people like Maria who risk everything for what's right. So what do you think? Was Karen's downfall fair, or did she deserve a second chance? Share your thoughts. I am curious where you stand.